All right, peace, everybody. I want to say peace and love to everybody that's here. Today, we're going to be speaking with Sheik Seven Islam L. This is going to be a great, dynamic conversation, an open and enlightening dialogue. I do have a few questions for the brother, but we will be opening up the floor for questions in general. So, for everyone in the chat, feel free to type your questions in there. It looks like we'll be able to view the Twitter feed live as well. So whether you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, feel free to type your comments and we will get to those questions for the Sheik as well. So as I said before, this is going to be a great demonstration. But first, before we get things started up, we have to rise and give the highest praise to the Most High, our Creator, our Father God, Allah. To Him, all praises are due. We give honors to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed and nationality so that we may learn to love instead of hate. And we also give honors to the forerunner to the prophet, our dear brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey. We extend honors to all faithful Moors that are watching this right now, especially those members of the Moorish-American Temple of America. And we ask that everyone watching this hits that like and share button to help spread the information, to help get this out there, to help get the algorithms up and get more people on this broadcast right now. So good afternoon, good evening. You're listening to the true and living Lightbringer, Moors in America. As always, I'm your brother, Lloyd Douglas, also known as Sharif Ali. Here on Moors in America, we are uncovering and bringing glorious light to all issues pertinent to the Moorish-American paradigm. Why? Because that's what we do here on this podcast known as Moors in America. So hopefully everyone is having an amazing evening, afternoon. And if you wouldn't mind, please, again, just a reminder, make sure you share this broadcast on your favorite social media platform, wherever you are, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're at. Make sure you hit the share button and make sure you hit the like button. And when we come back, we will expand further on this topic. And definitely don't miss it. So relax, grab your popcorn, share this. In other words, grab a friend. And here we go, more. Okay, Moors, I forgot to play our Moors in America video. I want to give a shout out once again to the brother Sean Bay, Columbus own. That's the brother that created this theme song for Moors in America. Y'all check this out. Show some love. We want to get some more people on here. So come on, Moors, hit the like and share button. And here we go. Moors in America.
I am not a Negro, black, colored, African American. I'm a Moorish-American. Peace.
Yeah. Hey, 5 on the right, 2 on the left, man. You know what time it is. Yo. We just Moors in America, soared through the shores and endured criminal acts of war on our character. 7 years after the 4th score, no reward. Shout out to the most courageous, they was jumping over barriers. Where does that compare to you? We come from a place where you scared to visit our area. We come from a place where it's scary for good Samaritans. Heavy luggage we carrying, babies having babies. It's crazy being American. Praise the one and only Allah, there's no comparison. La ilaha illa Allah, body and buried in. Laughing at you clowns like ha ha, dodging the Nephilim. Conquer lower self with the high, follow your regimen. Way before they came we were gods and now we specimen. Tried to take the light from our eyes, thank God for Edison. Then they put the wool on our eyes, it's so embarrassing. Now we travel frequently, we should invest in Sheraton. All of us got gold on our bodies whenever we stepping in. Screaming Ramadan, Mubarak, training the flesh again. Wishing we could move as a unit just like the Mexicans. Dodging all the foods with estrogen, synthetic medicines. All sin isn't devilish. Sometimes the decisions that you make come for a better gift. Sometimes when you sin is to relate to all your brethren. Heavenly gates all in our face, we the champions. We live in the sky, we see the angels on the chariots. Waiting on the $20 bill, face a Harriet. I bet you I'ma carry it. I'm in love with music to the point I wanna marry it. But my love for people is greater, so I write messages. Largest spending power, but we still sit at a deficit. Living amongst prejudice, even at our residence. Moors in America, flourishing, excellent. Let's buy up some neighborhoods and groom our own president. Yeah. And I come to you today with all intentions of spreading love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
All right, peace, Moors. All right, that once again, that was Moors in America by the brother Sean Bay out of Columbus. Shout out to that brother. Now, today we have the brother Sheik Seven Islam L here with us, and we are going to be speaking with the brother, discussing Moorish nationality, Islamism, and we will also be taking questions from the chat. The brother Sheik Seven Islam L is a Grand Sheik out of the local branch temple, the Moorish Science Temple of America in Charlotte, North Carolina. This brother is a published author of 2 books. We do have the information, the titles and information where you can get the books in the chat. That's Wisdom of the Prophet and the Messenger. And then the other book is Nationality, a Moorish-American Perspective. He's also the co-creator, co-owner of MOOR Life Spring, Pure Spring Water. And then also creator, owner of MOSLEM Life LLC. It's a clothing brand. And this brother also has his own podcast, the Let's Think podcast. He just debuted that. That link is also in the description as well, Moors. I'll share that right now in the chat, but make sure you go to the description. A matter of fact, you can do that right now. You know, if you just want to pop off the feed, go to the description and make sure you hit the subscribe button to subscribe to that brother's podcast right there. So that's on the chat. You watching it on, Twitter, wherever you watching this, make sure you go subscribe to that brother and then come right back over here, to watch the rest of this broadcast, or do that after the broadcast. But make sure you go subscribe, show some love. And brother, please tell us about yourself, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and yield the floor to you, brother. Islam.
Islam,
you
can hear me, brother?
Loud and clear.
Oh, praise Allah. First and foremost, allow me to rise in the spirit of 7, giving all thanks and perfect praises unto Allah. Extend the highest honors to his holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Extending honors to the forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Extending honors to all present, past, and future leadership of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And extending honors to the chat. And yourself, brother, man, and Moors in America, for having me and giving me an opportunity to introduce myself. Islam. As you said, I'm brother Seven Islam L. I'm also known as brother C Heath L. As Sheik Seven Islam L is somewhat of a handle, but a lot of people know me as that. But but I'm Brother C. Heath-El, also known as Sheik Seven Islam male. I'm a local Grand Sheik in the Moorish Science Temple of America, Branch Temple number 3, located in Charlotte. I've been a Moorish-American Muslim. I proclaimed my nationality about 10 years ago. So I've been in the movement a decade or a little more. I am an author, as you said, of 2 different publications. One known as The Wisdom of the Prophet and the Messenger, and another, Nationality, a Moorish-American Perspective. I'm a co-owner and co-creator of More Life Spring Water, pure spring water, along with another brother, an esteemed brother by the name of Jarvis McGriff L., who is also the assistant GS of our local temple. I am the founder and creator of Muslim Life LLC, which is a clothing brand. As you know, I think some of the Moors who may be tapped into the chat may be familiar with it. And in March, we will be launching some more clothing. So stay tuned for that. But other than that, I'm your brother. Outside of it all, I'm your brother. I'm a Moorish-American Muslim, unapologetically. I don't think I need to say that. And I'm just a brother dedicated to that comprehensive program of the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, which is uplifting fallen humanity. And as far as that, that's all I can say about myself, because I raised myself not too high for fear of falling. And, you know, who likes a person that beats on their chest all the time? Islam.
Islam. And you know what you just said, man, that's who we are here too. This is unapologetically Moorish-American Muslim over here, Moors in America. That's what we do, and that's how we're going to keep it. And we're going to keep the Prophet out front. And we're not concerned whether or not, you know, that rubs some people the wrong way. We're going to do it, you know, and that's why we have you on here, brother. You know, we want to build with the brother. Now, you have the book, Nationality, okay, a Moorish-American Perspective.
Yes,
could you build on that? Just that topic, nationality, a Moorish-American perspective.
Well, first and foremost, we got to acknowledge this. You know, first and foremost, what we have to acknowledge is that every human being has a nationality, whether he's knowing or unbeknownst of it. As the Holy Quran of Mecca, of Muhammad, which we find our power, derive our power and authority, it states that Allah would raise a prophet from amongst every nation speaking their language, so they would know to worship none but Allah and shun the devil. And with that being said, we acknowledge none other than the Prophet Noble Jew Ali as bringing us this truth and divine truth, Islam. Nationality, a Moorish-American perspective, is just that. Nationality from a Moorish-American perspective is speaking of the concept of nationality, the importance of nationality from a Moorish-American perspective. As we've said, every human being has a nationality because they derive from a particular nature. They have a decent nature. And here within the confines of the United States of America, we understand that nationality plays a major role in what we know as citizenship. As we know, the Prophet Noble Jew Ali first began this great movement as a civic organization. And in studying the word civics, we understand that civics pertain to the duties and rights and responsibilities of citizenship. So therefore, the book Nationality, a Moorish-American Perspective, is speaking from the Moorish-American's perspective of this particular concept. If we all study the history of the United States of America, we understand that the United States of America has a motto. And the motto is written in Latin. And it is pronounced e pluribus unum, which this means out of many, one. Now, what does that mean? When we look at the diaspora of the United States of America, the citizenship of the United States of America, we can see that it consists of almost every nation on the planet Earth. And each one of them still identifies with their decent nature, i.e., Chinese American, Japanese American, Russian American, German American. And us acknowledging and proclaiming our decent nature, we acknowledge ourselves as Moorish-Americans. And in this particular happenstance, what we're doing is, first and foremost, acknowledging and proclaiming our contribution to the establishment of this Western civilization as well as the United States as a whole. Because we know that, first and foremost, this country was built on the back of our forefathers for free. Let's get that out there. For free. And the Prophet Noble Jew Ali teaches us that they owe us in compound interest, but we won't go there. But what I will say, that we're discussing not only our contributions to American society, we're discussing our origins. And not only that, we're speaking about our divine creed. And what does our divine creed do for a Moorish-American Muslim? It gives us what? Our ability or our perspective of the world. The Chinese see the world from their perspective. Arab-speaking people who exist in the East see the world from their perspective. We see it from our perspective. And it's our duty to broadcast our history, our truth, and our narrative into the matrix. And that's what I'm doing in writing these publications. Not only that, but creating products such as clean spring water. And in that process, not saying that I'm the only one who has pure spring water, but in that happenstance and providing that service, I am also broadcasting the Moorish-American signal into the matrix, along with the podcast that we're in the process of launching. Islam,
brother, and gratitude for that demonstration. So going back to nationality, what would you say to any Moors out there that are wondering wondering how do they get involved? Like, how do they come into their nationality?
First and foremost, my most sincere advice would be that you find a lawfully and legally chartered organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America in your area. That's the first sincere advice that I could give you. Secondly, I would say when you are and when you do find that temple and find yourself within the confines of that particular sacred space and divine space, that sacred grove, come with your cup empty. Pour out the remnants of anything that you think you may know, and come into the temple with a pure heart and a sincere mind to learn your nationality and your divine creed. Islam.
All right. So for the Moors that are listening, the brother advised you to find a lawfully chartered temple, to get involved with the temple.
And allow me to say this: this is not taking away a person's ability nor responsibility to research on their own. As I tell the members in our temple, don't take anything that I say on face value. Research everything that I say. So we're not telling you to come into the temple with your eyes closed and your ears closed. We're telling you to come into the temple with a sincere heart and a sincere mind, open and ready to receive that which you have not been taught. Because Acts 6 says we are teaching the members their nationality and divine creed. What is that presuming? That when you came through the doors, you didn't know. And one thing that anyone must do in order to learn proficiently is first come down with a sincere heart and a sincere mind, an open mind, with the willingness to learn. And if you can't come with that, I would say that you're not even entering the temple in the spirit of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Because when we come into the temple with the spirit of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, one thing that does is what? It humbles the heart. It humbles the mind. Because we know that these are the highest principles known to man. And may I say this, these principles are also attributes of Almighty God Allah. So when we dig that far, we know that when we come in the spirit of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, we actually come in the spirit of Almighty God Allah.
Islam, brother. That's beautiful. So we are actually, imitating Allah then by following those divine principles when we come in. But with what you're saying, though, we have to learn about those divine principles. And
Yes,
we're not
sir.
even gonna learn that, from anywhere except the temple. It looks like we have 2 questions in the chat.
Yes.
Now somebody actually 3. Now the brother Jonathan Scott Bay asked, how do you know if a temple is lawfully chartered or not?
Oh, first and foremost, let's deal with the aspect of law. And I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to say that I'm revolutionary for saying such. But first and foremost, let me take our minds away from so many things that people would align with the ideal of being lawfully chartered. First and foremost, we have to acknowledge, when we're saying lawfully, first we must acknowledge the laws that have been established to govern this said movement. Now, are those laws being practiced? Are those laws being proclaimed? Are those laws in action? How do you know? One thing that you know is that we can see one's following the footsteps of the Holy Prophet Noble Jew Ali. See, one thing that I can acknowledge is this. I haven't seen the actions of my prophet when he was in the manifest since I've been here 10 years. We haven't produced the things that he's produced. Not saying that no one has a pure heart. Not saying that any other temples are not lawfully chartered. First and foremost, like I said, we have to deal with the laws of the prophet, or the laws of the prophet governing the body of Moorish-American Muslims in that said temple. Now, we can go to, is this temple recognized in the government in which you live? I live in the government of North Carolina. That's the state that I live in. The temple is recognized. In every article of the prophet, every article that the prophet established is recognized. So therefore, and I ain't gonna talk about filing numbers. We ain't gonna get into those particular conversations, because what that does, it takes away from the spirit of the lesson. And I'm not coming here or on your platform to debate things that can be debatable. I'm not here to debate. Yes, they can be debatable. However, that's not the spirit that I come in, because what has a debate done as of yet? Now, we do need intellectual discourses and conversations. I do agree with that. But if there is no means to an end for the conversation, what use is it? So at this point, if you want to link with me and we can have that conversation, I'm pretty sure the brother can leave the link to my Facebook page or my Instagram page in the comments, and I'll be glad to have that one-on-one conversation with you. But I don't feel at this point in time that that's pertinent right now, because one thing for sure and two things for sure: no filing with the Secretary of State on or the government on any level will bring you salvation.
Islam. And if you don't mind, I want to try to clarify what you're saying. I'm not trying to speak for you, but I'm just trying to put it together, and correct me if I'm wrong. So was your response then for that question to how do you know if the temple is lawfully chartered to actually to see if that temple is following the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's laws?
Okay, let me answer it just like this. And on every Secretary of State filing, one thing you can find is the Articles of Incorporation. And if those Articles of Incorporation are not filed in accordance with that of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, I think you have something to investigate. And I'll leave it there.
Okay.
And the reason why I don't want to delve into this issue is because what does it do? It brings up room for contention, because everyone has their narrative, everyone has their perspective, and I'm not here to battle anyone's perspective. I'm just here to put the Prophet out front.
Islam, brother. Islam. Understood. And so there you have some instructions where you can go to see if the temple was set up according to the Prophet. All right. And then the brother also shared, once you come in and begin to learn about the Prophet, you can now determine if this temple or if these people are actually following the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And that will ultimately be of the utmost importance, because if we follow the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we already know our destination. It's guaranteed. We're going to start to experience success. We're going to be growing, moving in the right direction. Right. Now, there was a question in the chat. It's up to you whether you would like to address this or not. But a sister had asked, how do I get my judicial notice and proclamation stamp with the golden seal? What would you say in response to that?
Are you a member of a Moorish-American Temple of America? That's the first question.
Islam. That's the first thing I would ask too. Islam.
The second thing that I would ask, if you are a member of the Moorish-American Temple of America, I would have to ask, what is your plans with said proclamation and notice? And what does it say? Golden seal or golden what?
It says she wanted to know how to get her judicial notice and proclamation stamped with the golden seal.
Well, the first thing I'm going to ask is, like I said, are you a part of a Moorish-American Temple of America? Secondly, what is your plans with said documents? And thirdly, what is a judicial notice?
Islam. And if I could add to that too, I would ask, what kind of seal do you want on it? Because if you're asking about a seal from the temple and it's going on some non-temple documents, that's not going to fly, more than likely.
And that's my point exactly.
Islam. Yeah. So I would advise, as the brother said, to visit a temple. I noticed you, the same person, I am Queen Taz, had mentioned there's no good Moorish temple that I know of. They are all in bed with these private contractors. So can I do it myself? All right. And I just want to ask or add to that. Now, when the Sheik had mentioned before coming into the temple with your cup empty. Now, if you're coming into the temple already knowing everything and you already got it figured out and you already know that they're all corrupt, you already know right off bat there's nothing you can learn. right? There's nothing that can be learned. So, I would suggest following the brother's advice, to come in to learn, not coming in thinking you have it figured out, or that what you've heard on the internet or wherever you've gotten information from is the end all be all. Come in to try to see and learn what you can learn. And that's
Is
the best way to move forward.
yes, sir. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes,
And I say this too. For this, whomever that was who made the comment. We have a teaching in the Moorish Temple of America that man knows not by being told. And a lot of people tend to confuse what they read with what they know. And in essence, to be what you know indicates or insinuates experience. And man is perfected by his experiences. So therefore, when you have these preconceived notions about a temple, the first thing I can ask is, have you ever been a member of the temple? How long were you there? And who was your leadership? These questions are very vital. Because some will say, oh, the temple has been infiltrated. Well, who told you that and how do you know? Too many, in my humble opinion, a lot of people are listening or looking at this movement from the outside in, trying to make a judgment on something they know nothing about, truly. And that's not speaking from a condescending position. That's just speaking from reality and fact. Many people outside of the temple have no idea as to the procedures of the Moorish Temple of America, nor the structure of the Moorish Temple of America.
Islam.
So
yes.
the conversation of infiltration is pretty much obsolete at that point. And I'm not here to, this infiltration conversation is very big right now, and I'm gonna say this. I don't think it's one movement that has been erected amongst the Asiatics of North America, truly geared for the upliftment and advancement of us as a nation of people. I don't think any organization that has truly been geared for that purpose has not been tampered with by the government in some way. But however, let me say this, that we as Moorish-American Muslims now, we have the law of the prophet in our hands and the words of the prophet in our mouth. Therefore, it's our responsibility at this point to carry on in the spirit of the prophet and continue to help the prophet in his great work of uplifting fallen humanity. In my humble opinion, we focus too much and give too much credit to those whom we would say has infiltrated. You give a lot of credit to them, as if they have more power than Almighty God, Allah, and the prophet himself.
Islam, brother, if I could get you to pause right there, what you just said. Yes, brother. Definitely. I agree with you on that. I just wanted to give you a round of applause, brother. Now, people, if we give in so much credit to those who are trying to destroy us or those who are against us, as the brother said, that means that you believe they have more power than the Almighty Allah to keep saying these things. And especially for those who've never even been inside of the temple, or who maybe went once and left, or, for most of us just stayed away just because of what you've heard. Right. You're saying once again that those who are against you are more powerful than the Almighty, right? And that makes no sense, you know. And then the other thing is too, now we have a prophet that was sent to us, right, ordained by Allah, raised this temple for us. If it's infiltrated, why not come in and clean it up, help to assist to build it up? Why is everybody so, well, I'm not gonna say everybody, but why are so many so willing to just give up, just to use that as an excuse to stay out?
Thought is developed by the exercise of strength, good bug. Thought is developed by the exercise of strength. And first thing we must know that man is the thought of Allah. So man is developed by the exercise of strength. And what do we do in the process of exercising strength? It says in the Holy Quran of the Moorish-American Temple of America that without a foe, a soldier would never know his strength. So therefore, in opposition to the truth, if I am standing upon the truth, in opposition of the truth, I must continue to be steadfast and persistent and consistent in being that truth. Because when truth is on the scene, it knocks the brains out of falsehood. But the question is now, we got to go beyond the words that you read and the words that come out of your mouth and ask yourself, are we living the life? Are we living the life accordingly? That's a question that we all should ask ourselves. No Muslim's heart lays naked before me. No Muslim's mind lays naked before me, but it does lay naked and exposed before the sight and the knowledge of Almighty God Allah. So, with that being said, I think it's quite pertinent that we do what Jesus said, Muslim. First and foremost, is to go with mind to the land of flesh and things where things are made of thought. Because from there, in this world, we see all of its reflexes, and results.
Islam, brother.
I honestly think that we, as a people, and I'm not saying all of us, I think we are paying attention more to the results of a particular thing rather than the source of the particular thing. Let me round it back. I think we, as a people, not all of us, but some of us, and I'm not going to say the majority of us, though some would beg to differ, that we pay attention to the results and the refluxes more than we pay attention to the source. Let me give you an example. And I'm going to ask you a question, good brother. Where do you get your sight from? The ability to have sight. Where do we get that from? We get that from Almighty Allah, who is the all-seeing, the faculty of sight. But we must understand that the human eye, this thing that you got in the cavity of your skull, actually does not see anything. It only records. It doesn't see, because now we talk about seeing, we have to get into what is known as understanding, comprehension. That's another word for seeing. So I think we need to pay attention to the source of things more so than the result. Because through the power is a reflux or a result of force. But by diligently studying and observing and analyzing the power, you can draw back to the source. However, we look so much at the issues and the problems that we don't get past them. And this is called reliving trauma day by day. And I was told that a fool is always beginning. What does that mean? How many times do you have to bump your head, burn your hand, and stub your toe to understand that you need to be more observant? That something is not right. I'm not going about this in the proper manner. So we have to continue to revisit lessons over and over and over and over and over and over again. But the one lesson that I'm not seeing us grasp is the lesson of love, to learn to love instead of hate. And we still learning that, Mo. The prophet said we must learn to love instead of hate. The presumption is that you don't know anything about love. So we need to draw to the source. And love is the only savior of the world. The only savior of the world. Allah is love. So therefore, with that being said, Allah, this love is the source of all things. But who's in tune? Are we playing too much into the reflexes appearing to be? Did not the prophet teach us to fear not of what we see nor what we hear? So, in saying, I think we pay so much attention to the letter of things and never comprehend the spirit of a thing.
Islam, brother. Islam. Now, we have another question too, based off of like the temple structure.
Okay.
Now, Asiatic World TV is saying, question, can you receive grants from cities, county, and state as a temple? If so, how? If not, why not? In detail, please.
Yes, you can. First and foremost, what I would like for you to do is whatever state, city, county that you're in, go and look up the law that pertains to religious societies. That would be key to you. And then, in conjunction with that, go pay attention to the back of your 101s. Research that document, and which it will lead you to something called the Hearst Revised Statutes. And I would say for you to really go pay attention to that. And, without getting outside of my mode and my position within this said body, because that's not my duty. My Grand Sheik and Chairman could explain that way better than I can. And my Grand Sheik and Chairman is Brother Lorenzo Portisel in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Islam.
And he's a lot more knowledgeable on that. And I feel like he's more qualified to have that conversation with someone because he's been successful in those areas.
Islam. And that's good to know too. If your temple's set up, established properly, the organization can receive gifts or grants and, can move accordingly. So that's good to know. I see Brother Jonathan Scott Bay asked, do you allow or have accepted other members of other Moorish administrations into your meetings?
Brother man, I'm gonna say this. It's the prophet's temple. It's not my temple. It's not my administration. It's the prophet's administration. If we're living by and operating according to the precepts and the etiquettes of the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Prophet Noble Jew Ali said was his. So therefore, I would never turn any Moorish-American Muslim, card-carrying Moorish-American Muslim, member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, away from a meeting of the Moorish Science Temple of America located in Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't have that power.
Islam, gratitude. All right. And we do have, well, there's a lot of questions in here. I see the brother Asiatic World TV he asked another question saying, do you have a private trust? Why or why not? If you care to answer that.
If I could, brother Asiatic World TV, do me a favor. Brother man, if you could share with him my email. I'll tell you my email right now. My email is, I'm gonna spell it for you. IMANIHEAVEN@gmail.com. Contact me, brother man, and I'll be glad to have that dialogue with you. But for sensitive reasons, because we got to remember, ones will come back to this broadcast, ones will come back here. And I don't want to ever have a negative connotation on anything that I say, because I'm not here to turn around anyone who would believe. Certain conversations get touchy. And I would rather have that conversation with you privately, so we can discuss that, so we don't have, like I say, any contention, or have ones who would want to disagree with our dialogue. Islam,
that makes sense, and that's also a private matter. Now the brother also asked, he said, do you have a wife? Why or why not?
Do I have a wife? Yes, I do.
Islam.
And why is because the Prophet Noble Jew Ali instructed me to take unto myself a wife. Now, allow me to say this before I go any further with my statement, because I have to explain to you exactly what I'm saying. We have a teachings in the Moorish Science Temple of America, which I don't really hear many Moorish-American Muslims speak upon, whether it is that they rather not have that conversation, or maybe they don't have the particular lesson. However, we have the divine prophet Jesus, who gave us a marriage law. And I'm not going to go deep and explain the whole chapter. But however, he said in this marriage law that the priest, the imam, your sheik, neither of these individuals have the ability to make two souls one. All right? They only have the ability to obligate one. Right? So, therefore, have I been legally obligated in the Moorish Science Temple of America? No, I have not. But am I wedded at the heart and the soul with a sister? Yes, I am. And it's been that way for 15 years.
Islam, brother, Islam. That's beautiful. Maybe I might understand why he would ask that question. So I know somebody, that's why we asking all these private questions. But that's a beautiful thing, brother, And that marriage in Islam,
and allow
brother.
me to say, I do plan on being obligated in the Moorish Science Temple within the confines of the Moorish Science Temple of America. That is my plan. It's being scheduled. So anybody who have any more questions about that, don't worry, it's about to happen. Don't worry. Just calm down. Give me a minute.
Islam, and that's beautiful, and just that marriage demonstration is a powerful measure that that more of us need to step up to master that, because you know, as you said, you know, we're commanded, you know, to take a wife, you know, to be fruitful, to multiply, and to, you know, to take on a wife. And within our society, with what the prophet established for us, you know, with the Moorish-American Muslim men, you know, caring and protecting for their wife and children, you know, it sets us up to succeed, you know.
Mhm.
And that goes back right back to the question where the sister had earlier about getting the paperwork and not being in the temple. That, you know, our people don't understand, this is how we come into that salvation, that earthly and divine salvation, that divine covenant. That's how we come into it, by following the prophet's divine instructions for us, you know. So I mean, that's definitely a powerful measure, you know, and especially for our Moorish leaders, you know, we need to take part in that, you know, male and female, and being married, and you know, um working to build that, because that's how we build the nation. It starts in the home.
It's an obligation under me. And I would say this boldly: if I didn't have those plans, I probably would sit down, beloved.
Islam, that's really honorable too, you know, because just going back to it once again, it would be hard, you know, to be a, you know, Moorish leader, and to even be able to teach, especially when we come into the Quran with those marriage instructions. How are we going to teach on that if we're not even, you know, practicing and working this in our own lives, you know?
Allow me to say this too before we get forward, is that be careful that when you obligate with a brother or a sister, that you don't solely do it to appease anyone other than Almighty God. Because I see so many marriages that end so quickly because Allah had nothing to do with it. So before you obligate, make sure that Allah has something to do with this. Because no, upon our present decision, you know the rest, lies our future happiness. So allow me to say that, and I'm not saying that or speaking against obligation or any other traditions or customs that may be established in other temples. I'm not speaking against that. But what I am saying is this: make sure that Allah is in that union. Because if it's not a marriage at all.
Islam, definitely, brother. Yes. And you know, Allah has to be involved in all decisions that we make as well.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Every
sir.
decision.
Allah.
That Morris, that's another reason why you need to come into the temple, because we have to learn how to raise our thoughts. We have to learn how to involve Allah in all decisions that we make. We have to learn it,
Yes,
because
sir.
this society that we grow up in does not give us that. They don't teach that in school. It definitely ain't on TV. It ain't in rap songs. It ain't in anything that we entertaining out here, right? So we have to come in and learn something that's brand new, you know, that
Yes,
goes
sir.
against all the stuff we've been learning out there.
Yes, sir. And one thing for sure, man, is that we got to understand this, man. It's like when we speak about change, things happen in degrees, beloved. It doesn't all happen at once, as Islam is to be taught in degrees. Not all at once. Because think about it. We have a 12-step ladder. We know about that particular lesson.
Islam.
Right? In the concept of a ladder, And the way the ladder is designed to be used productively, you would take one rung at a time, right? You would take one step at a time. You wouldn't skip from the ground up to the fourth step. That wouldn't be safe for you. And I would apply that same concept in understanding and growing in Islam. Islam is learning that this will happen in degrees and stages. A lot of people are zealous, brother, man. When we come out of that state and we realize something is not right, and we feel, we get the inclination that we've been blessed with an opportunity to look at the marvelous light, the first thing we want to do is hum, 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 hum. And sometimes that can be absolutely dangerous. Someone may be given medicine to take for an ailment, but if they take too much of it at one time, what happens?
Death sometimes.
It's just as detrimental as the ailment itself, or possibly more dangerous.
Yes.
So take your time. Everything happens in degrees. Everything happens in degrees and stages.
Islam. And if I could add to that too, with just that measure you said about taking time, things being revealed in degrees. Now, with the internet, there's so much information floating around out there. You may feel like you know it all and you got it all, but what the brother's saying is really important, because you may get burned out.
The Holy Quran of the Moorish-American Temple of America also says that the clearest of human knowledge is but blindness and folly.
Islam.
So
that's right.
While we are so adamant and so quick and so, seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. That were the words of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. However, we also know that the Prophet Muhammad said, "He who knows himself knows his Lord." And in the Holy Quran of the Moorish-American Temple of America, it states, "The knowledge of thyself and he who created thee, what better is there to know?" So while we chase after literary things, though they serve their purpose, never forget to study yourself. And after you get through doing that, and you ask what to study again, study yourself. And if you ask that question again, I'll tell you to study yourself again. And just to give you a key, beloved, you might not find yourself in a book. It comes with experience. These documents lead you to self-realization.
Islam. Definitely truth in that. And just taking it one step at a time, even though people might not feel like doing it. The information's out here, but there's definitely wisdom in what the brother's saying. I'm glad you mentioned that, brother. So, gratitude for that.
Yes, sir.
Islam. Yes, sir. Now, going back to your books, right? Let's, if you don't mind, let's jump to Wisdom of the Prophet and the Messenger.
Yes, sir.
Could you let us know a little bit about that? What this book is about? What people can gain from that.
First and foremost, I wrote that book. I was inspired to write that book from my own experience. Which would make me have to segue into my history along the path of self-realization and coming into the knowledge. I'm 43 years old now, for those who would probably have that question as well.
Islam, brother, we the same age, brother. Islam.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Praise Allah. I'm 43 years old, and I came into consciousness or Islam In the year 1996, I was at the tender age of 16. I took Shahada. I said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And that began my journey. I took that Shahada as a Sunni Muslim. I then went into the Shiite Maktab. Then I was introduced, I read this book. And to this day, I still say it's one of the most influential books in my life. I read Message to the Black Man. I still cannot describe what that book did to me at that point in time. I just can't describe it. But however, from there, I went into the Nation of Gods and Earths, where I sat for a while. And during this time, I began to meet Moorish-Americans. And the first Moorish-American Muslim that I ever met was Lorenzo Portishead. Years ago, before I proclaimed my nationality. So I began to I jumped into what is known as a program, and I was involved in, it was considered an interfaith organization, and I sat in that for a while, and I practiced different traditions and etc. My road leads into other august bodies outside of the temple. I will say this, which is most definitely shunned amongst the Moorish paradigm, but I'll be truthful and honest. Before I came into the Moorish Science Temple of America, I was a member of the Masonic craft. I became a third-degree Master Mason. I became an assistant worthy patron of the Order of the Eastern Star, among other things. However, fast forward, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali found me wandering around in the utter darkness because I was still searching. That light hadn't been turned on, per se. I had seen glimmers, but I hadn't seen that marvelous light. And when the Prophet Noble Drew Ali found me, and he walked me into that marvelous light, my life hasn't been the same. So I was inspired to write this book because these two individuals and their teachings have had the most impact on my life. That's the first thing. Secondly, in studying both organizations, without getting into any assumptions or things that can be debated. And you know where the statement is what is it's insinuating. However, these are two of the most powerful Asiatic organizations to ever exist on the shores of North America. Whether we agree to disagree, whether we acknowledge differences or not, no one can deny the impact of the Moorish Science Temple of America, nor the Nation of Islam on the Asiatic nation of North America. And it was my intentions to write that book, to give a congruency in the teachings, to build and focus on the similarities versus the differences. Because we can find something different in just about anything. But where can we find the common ground, the common unity? I see the question, do I think the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is a Freemason? What man thinks, the generality of men is no proof of truth. And the generality of men is almost always ignorant. So do I think Noble Drew Ali is a Freemason? No, I don't think so, because I'm not going to make that assumption without clear proof. So I'll leave that there. And I will say this, I'm not here to demonize Masons either. I'm not going to do that either. Because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us not to speak radical about any organized group. So how about that? I won't do that. I see another question. Just to answer that question, I'll answer that question right there. How much of your Masonic lessons line up with chapter of the Holy Quran? All of them. All of them. All of them. But one thing I want to say is this. When it comes to being a Moorish-American Muslim and a brother who has been initiated into the craft, number one, I'm a Moorish-American Muslim. Straightforward. That's my business. No, I'm not. I'm not an active member in any lodge or any fraternal order. I'm not. No, sir. Do you think, oh man, the questions are coming.
That's true, brother.
Do you think we are Sufis as Moorish Americans? Oh, that's a good topic. That's a good question. That's a very good question. Let's do this. A lot of times what we do, we get lost in linguistics. We get lost in language sometimes, in my honest opinion. Meaning, when we look at the science of Tasawwuf, since we got the Sufi question, when we get to the subject of Tasawwuf, it literally is insinuating that Allah and man are one. Right? Though there may be different paths or different expressions of this one thought, the principle is still the same. Now, this would become of you when you ask about Sufism. Many people, at times, what they do is they confine the concept of Sufism solely to Islam. A Sufi, a true Sufi, can walk amongst any school of thought and find that thread of truth. So at times a Sufi may come in different garbs. He may not always have a Quran and speak the Arabic language, or offer 5 prayers a day, or zikr the same things that you zikr. However, the principle is still the same. The gnosis is still the same. So are we Sufis? by certain traditions, as brought and taught by our prophets, certain things that are practiced in certain Sufi tarikats. We can't find that in the literature of the Moor Science Temple of America. However, the principles, are they there? Yes. And we also taught that customs and traditions alter not the nature of truth. So the point is, when we ask the question, are we Sufis? I think the better question would be, do we as Moorish-American Muslims see Allah and man as one? Or do we adhere to the concept of tasawwuf? And I would say yes.
Islam, Sheik. Islam. So we have another question in the chat too, asking if Moorish-American Muslims pray.
Yes, we do pray. And that, yes, we do pray. One thing that you can see that's commonly known about Moorish-American Muslims, we pray 2 fingers on the right, 5 on the left, feet, not foot, feet at a 45-degree angle. And we do math, we already know that's a 90 degree. And we quote the Moorish-American prayer, which is Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Juali. Amen.
Islam. And you already answered the next question. I was about to say, do we have our own way of praying? Islam, yes, brother. And I want to give a more shout out to brother Sparks Bay. Also see you, brother Timo. Islam, brother. Let's see who else we got. Brother Arnil Bay in here. We got brother Harper Ill. Islam to all the Moors and all the Moors that I didn't mention. Islam.
Islam, Moors. Islam.
So Sheik Arnil Bay asked a question. He's saying, do Moorish Americans vote?
Okay, to answer that question, I think a better question would be, are we supposed to vote? How about that?
Islam. So are we supposed to vote?
So now, what we will do is speak about the history of the Prophet Noble Juali. In the year 1928, when he galvanized over 3,000 Moors to the polls and got the first Asiatic senator elected into office since the Reconstruction. And his name was Oscar the Priest. So when we look, do Moorish Americans vote? The Prophet Noble Juali has already illustrated that. So I would say yes. And now. Let me go a little bit further. When we look at the history of the Prophet, we understand that the Prophet's organization was first incepted as a civic organization. We already have established that civics is the study of the duties, responsibilities, and rights of citizenship, which would make me segue into the voting conversation in this manner. Citizens have a responsibility. We have rights. And one of those responsibilities is to participate in the development and advancement of society. Number one. Number two, we have to look at the structure of government that we live in. How do we, us as people, because we the people, we are the government, how do we exercise these particular things? Now, we understand that we do this by elected representatives, right? Those people whom we choose and elect to sit in positions of governance over us. Now, let's ask this question. If you do not participate in the process, Islam, by default, you are still participating in the process. How is that? Because your inability to participate, to not participate, your inability to participate, your unwillingness to participate, what is it? It leaves room for others to snatch the bread off your plate and feed you in, which is the case that has been going on for so many years. And if voting is not something that we need to be doing, how do we expect to gain any type of footing in American society? Do we vote? We should. We should. We should be taking our place in the affairs of men, our rightful place in the affairs of men at that. Excuse my face, it looks like it's tilting. However, do we vote? Do Moorish-Americans vote? Some of them do, some of them don't. The question is, should we vote? And I say yes.
Islam definitely agree on that, and especially with following the example that the Prophet set. I see Sister Moody L said that people must be educated on the process. I see you, Brother Shaw L. Islam, Brother McCoy Bay. Yeah, Islam. You know,
Islam is Sheik Shaw L.
Islam. We definitely don't need to be. We don't need to continue doing what our people have been doing for the last couple of decades, just being herded in.
Can I ask a question?
Islam.
And I like your feedback on it. I'm just asking the question. And before I ask the question, I just want to say this. We know that the European nations, pale-skinned European nations, let me be specific, had their part in stripping us of our nationality. We are so adamant about, proclaiming our nationality, but yet and still in the same happenstance, this same people also snatch the right to vote. If it isn't important at all, why did they go to such lengths to keep you away from the polls and in participating in government?
That's right.
Why? We know they had a purpose in stripping the Moors of their nationality and divine creed. One thing we know, one thing we learned about the Shaitan, even in and not equating people to the Shaitan. But one thing we know about even in the Shaitan, it's done with a purpose. And it was a purpose that was being initiated when our voting rights and our ability to go to the polls to affect change was tampered with, circumscribed, with Jim Crowism, etc. Somebody went to a great length to establish that. And I think, in my humble opinion, it would be intelligent that we investigate that. For those who feel like we don't need to be voting, I think you should investigate that. So now, brother man, what do you feel about voting?
Islam, brother. So I agree with the example set by the prophet. I don't know who wrote Political Slavery. I guess that's author unknown from the Moorish literature.
Yes,
But
sir.
it pretty much set the tone for me, and my understanding. If I could just read this briefly, where it says, anytime a man or woman fails or refuses to cast a sacred ballot at the polls, they separate themselves from all rights of an American citizen. Okay. And it speaks about the conditions that we're still in now, where we're being coerced, to vote for a certain party. Right. We all know that our people were coerced to vote for the Democrats. You heard Joe Biden get up there and try to shame folks, talking about you not black. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. As you said, if it wasn't important, why the emphasis? Why they trying to herd people into a certain direction? They might not be hanging out at the polls now with guns and threatening to kill us, but they still trying to keep us from empowering ourselves. Also, in one of the old Moorish guides, you have you had an ad that was saying, how would you like to have your own mayors, your own aldermen, things of that nature. And then you had a response to that, where it's speaking on, okay, having our own mayors, our own aldermen, our own sheriffs. And I saw I think there's a lot of confusion out here. There are people in the chat saying, well, what do we vote on? Where's our government? I think we need to get away from all of that rhetoric or spooky talk that keeps us from just doing the practical work, just as the prophet did.
Where's our government? We the people.
Islam. So doing that practical work, just at the local level to build up our towns, the same way that everyone else is doing. We have people here in America. There's Islamburg in New York. There are other towns that have been established by so-called African Americans, don't even identify as Moors, but they're what would be classified as Black Muslims, and they've established their own towns. They have their own school system. Same thing that we could do.
Same thing that we was instructed to do.
Islam, we're instructed to do that. And those who are going to assist in the process, you need to leave all that spooky mess behind, thinking that there's some, workaround doing that practical work, just at the practical level,
And on the subject of voting and who to vote for, I think we should focus on the prophet's word when he said, out of your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. I think while we are dealing with who to vote for, yes, that is something that we should, a situation that could be very sensitive. However, the whole thing that I'm thinking that we should pay attention to is educating and raising these individuals from amongst ourselves, training individuals from amongst us to take these seats. Because who's going to have our interests like we do? Cast a sacred ballot, that's right. But do you understand that the right to vote is a sacred right of citizenship? Do you know that?
Islam.
Divine rights. So I think that we should be focusing on educating and raising these individuals whom we would feel comfortable in voting for. Encouraging our youth and those who possess the talent to communicate, that possess the ability to orate and have the ability and the mind to understand law. So, with that being said, I think that which segues right back into what you said, brother man, is building our own, developing our own. And until then, I can't say anything is 100% waterproof, so to speak. Islam?
Islam, I'm with you on that. We definitely need to be educated on the process to educate ourselves, and maybe even to get out there and recruit some other Asiatic brothers and sisters that are already astute in the legal process, and in the different government roles and things of that nature, to help us be able to make informed decisions. Or even if we have to, once, as our finances are in order to, to pay consultants,
Yes,
to help us, because we may not be in a position right away where we can put people in office that are from our fold. So we're going to have to negotiate with the others who are running, and we have our own agenda that we're looking out for in exchange for our support. But at the same time, we're working on educating and raising those from our folds to take those positions,
praise
and
Allah.
to build our own. We have to work from where we at. I believe that's the same thing the prophet did. He got the man who was Secretary of State in the governor's seat. In exchange, there was an exchange that took place. The prophet was on point.
Yes, sir.
So he got things for his people in
It's
exchange
called
for their
doing
support.
business. It's
That's
called
right.
doing business.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's business. And the prophet had us wearing suits, suits and ties, and like we
Yes, sir.
supposed to be coming, businessmen, businesswomen, and
Yes, sir.
getting it done at a
Yes,
higher
sir.
level.
Yes, sir.
So I mean,
And
yeah, definitely don't need to be scared of voting.
I don't want to go back to Brother Arnel Bay's question when he said, "Are Moorish-American Sufis?" Some of us are.
Islam.
Not all are. Because we got to understand what is man's God according to the Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America.
Man's ideal.
Oh man, we got to take into that. We got that's one word I think we need to study a whole lot. Islam.
Islam, brother.
Now the question is your ideal in line with the thoughts of Allah? Then that becomes the question. But as of me, when it comes to Sufism and a tariqat, I am a member of a tariqat. I'm a murid. I'm a part of the tariqat of Sheik Bamba of Senegal. So yeah.
Islam. Yeah, I have to get my understanding up on that demonstration, but I've heard the Moors say that what the Asiatics in Senegal have been going through is kind of similar to our movement.
It most definitely is. I haven't been in no order that long. However, what I do know about Sheik Bamba may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, is that he had a non-violent approach to oppression. And for lack of a better words, he fought that war spiritually versus physically or politically. He fought it spiritually. And I've heard some stories about some of the miraculous things that occurred during these particular times, and with the building of the holy city of Tuba. Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba, in my humble opinion, was most definitely a holy man to the Asiatics of Senegal. And he was divinely guided. That's what I would say about Sheikh Ahmadu Bamba.
Islam, brother. Yeah, definitely interesting. As I said, that's something I have to get my understanding of.
I see a question now. I see a statement. We need our Islam. Yeah, we do. We do need our Islam. However, while we focus so much on our, which we should, let me say that, we should focus on our own traditions and customs that are established within the Moorish Science Temple of America and appreciate them. However, one thing we should know is that there's a greater Islamic world. You're not the only Muslim on the planet Earth. And the Holy Quran of Mecca says that Allah created us in nations and tribes that we may get to know each other and not despise each other. And then, man must be what he knows. So our Islamism is our Moorish expression of the faith of Muhammad. However, that doesn't negate the fact that other practices can be found useful. But I do and would advise you to learn your own traditions and your own customs. Learn them well before you venture out and start participating in anything else.
Islam. All right. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you there. Now I just scrolled past a question, but one thing I wanted to just go back to the book on nationality, right? So it's nationality from a Moorish-American perspective. I've seen some comments in here speaking about nationality. It's some people that obviously don't have a full grip or understanding on what the prophet brought to us. So I would like to know if you could wrap this up, what is nationality concerning us? What would we say nationality is from a Moorish-American perspective? Like what is our nationality? And what does that mean to us from a Moorish-American perspective?
Well, from a Moorish-American perspective, as I stated earlier, and now allow me to speak for myself too, because I don't want to ever say anything or put anything in the mouth of another Moorish-American Muslim, though our thoughts should predominantly be along the same lines. But I still have to respect each and every brother and sister Muslim out there. However, nationality, first, as the prophet says, is the foundation of humanity. Meaning, and me thinking of that, knowing that Allah created man and nations and tribes, that means if you do not have a nationality, you are not attached to the human family. And then at that point, what laws or anything protect you that another human being is bound to respect? Nationality, as we already know, during the diabolical institution of chattel slavery, that the memory of our illustrious past and who we were, back to this thing about cultures, about customs and traditions, the language, and our perspective of our concept of deity itself was stripped away from us through a systematic process. A systematic process. And what that did was detach you from a glorious past that will be in complete contrary to the present day situation that we are placed under and identified with. Islam. Nationality is, from a Moorish-American perspective, as taught by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, is the key to unlock the chains and the lock of mental slavery. Man, know thyself. If you don't know who you are beyond 1492, the question is, who are you? So, nationality to us is, as I said, the foundation of humanity. Nationality, by definition, is that quality of character that arises from the fact of belonging to a nation or state. And it determines political status, especially in reference to allegiance. So nationality as a Moorish-American Muslim not only connects me to the government in which I live, but it also connects me to Almighty God, Allah himself. Because coming out of from under the labels and the marks of Negro, black, and color, we already know that the Holy Prophet said in the Moorish-American Temple of America, Holy Quran, that there's no Negro, black, or color attached to the human race, or to the human family, excuse me. So if you are alluding or are striving to identify with things that are not even attached to the human family, we must ask, where does that place you in the scheme of things? Nationality also is your connection to the government in which you live. I am a Moorish American. I descend from the Moors of the old world. And that is my contribution to American society, starting there. Because I am who my forefathers were today, without doubt or contradiction. And no man can change the decent nature of another man unless his power extends beyond that of the great universal creator, Allah himself. And no man can you change the spot on a leopard? So nationality is an intricate part in knowing thyself. And then knowing that Allah didn't create a Negro, black, and colored. That man was created in the image and after the likeness of Almighty God, Allah. So he can't be Negro, black, or colored, African American, Ethiopian. Islam.
Islam.
So to us, nationality again is the order of the day, and it's the foundation of humanity itself. Islam.
Islam, brother. And yeah, definitely agree with you on that. I think that's a good question to end things off with. But before we do close out this great build, I just want to ask if there's anything that you would like to touch on, anything you would like to share with our listeners.
Oh yes, I would like to share. First and foremost, what I want to say is honors to all the Moorish-American Muslims, um, all the L's and Bays carrying the spirit of the Prophet. I want to thank you all for being an inspiration to me, because no man lives unto himself. All living things are bound by cords to all other living things. And I'm learning lessons. And praise be to Allah, I'm learning them, manifold. So praise be to Allah. Also, I wanted to demonstrate with the Moors that go on over to Let's Think podcast YouTube channel. Subscribe for me. If you can find it within your heart and your mind and your time, please subscribe, because we're going to be launching a show here soon, and our first show here soon. And I want to say this. Let's Think podcast is our attempt, not just mine, but all of our attempt, but my initiative to present a healthy and intellectual dialogue as it pertains to the Moorish-American experience. From our concepts and our perspectives of Islam, from our understanding of government, to our understanding of what to eat, to our understanding of how to communicate, to understanding of how to treat one another, to have a healthy dialogue upon subject matters that affect us directly on an everyday basis. One thing we must get to learn is that in order to learn to love each other, we must get to know each other. And getting to know each other is beyond saying he's in this grand body, he's in that grand body, he follow this person. I follow Prophet Noble Drew Ali to a destiny that's definitely not unknown or uncertain. So go on over, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we do post content. And assist me too in bringing forth this healthy dialogue, this positive dialogue. And I want to say honors to all other Moorish platforms, especially this one here, Moors in America. I appreciate you, brother, man, for allowing me to speak and share.
Islam, brother. Islam.
All other Moorish-American platforms, I'll support, you support, we support. We're strong together, divided we're weak. So help me, help us. Let's help each other, help us. Islam?
Islam, brother. Great gratitude to you. Much appreciation to you, everything that you do, producing the literature, and for taking the time to come on here and build with us. I did share your link. You see, it's easy. You just go to YouTube, type at Let's Think Podcast, and make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to this brother's podcast. It's brand new. So let's go and support, subscribe, check it out. Make sure you click the little bell so you can get the notifications, and make sure you do that for this channel too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do that here too.
Yes, sir.
Go and support the brother. The brother's on point. He's a real sheik, the more scientific. Sister Lachelle, is that you? Shout out to you, sister. Much love. Moors, I want to say we don't go anywhere. Moorish Travel Monday is starting now.
Yes, sir.
Moabitis will be on here in 5 minutes. So
Also,
y'all don't go anywhere.
Before we go, I want to extend honors to my leadership. I must do that. And I didn't do it in my opening. I must extend my honors to my leadership, Grand Sheik and Chairman Lorenzo Portisell, and his administration. And I want to extend honors to each and every Moorish-American Muslim and their administrations on the land. I respect and I honor you all. Wherever we're different at, that's between us. We can talk about that. We can hash that out. But for the world, let's show them what a nation of mighty Moorish-American Muslims living according to the Prophet's will and desire looks like. Islam, peace and love.
All right, Islam, brother, peace and love. Moors, once again, don't go anywhere. Moorish Travel Monday starting in about 5 minutes. Want to thank you for coming on here, and we will be closing this down. But this just don't go anywhere, Moors. We'll be right back. Peace and love, brother. Everybody that didn't subscribe already, go over to that brother's podcast, Let's Think Podcast. Make sure you hit subscribe. Peace and love, everybody. Islam.
Islam, peace and love.
Every day, billions of searches are conducted online, therefore it is critical that your company stands out to the small percentage of clients who are essential to your business. Our team of local digital marketing consultants and SEO experts is eager to help your company achieve its goals through a consultative approach, top Google rankings, and collaboration with industry experts. Here at Adept Marketing Solutions, we stand for integrity, dedication, ingenuity, and results. We know how to navigate the ever-changing digital landscape and what brands must do to succeed. Visit our website to see what we can do to help you reach your goals.
CareMore is a non-profit organization focused on providing goods and services to families and individuals in our underfunded communities in Central Ohio. We have created an online presence to reach members of our Central Ohio communities, as well as local events and meetings to give away supplies and donations throughout the city all year long. Visit our website to learn more and to send a donation.
Highest quality handmade fezzes. Crafted fez with the finest wool, complete with tassel and leather sweatband. Wear the national headdress of Moorish Americans with pride and respect. 3XL size fez is a comfortable fit for brothers with dreadlocks. Shipping worldwide. Go to moorishfez.com to order.
Don't let your history start at slavery. Join with Moorish Science Temple, a lawfully chartered Islamic organization, and proclaim your nationality while helping us uplift fallen humanity. Founded by American prophet Noble Drew Ali and consistently promoted plans for the betterment of humankind. We are located in Columbus, Ohio. Visit our website www.moorishamericans.com and follow us on social media. We hold live meetings on Zoom every Friday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give us a call at 614-407-4394 if you would like to join or send donations to help us uplift fallen humanity.